Hello. My TV Days drama digests say that in the shadowed corridors of Salem's hospital, where the sterile scent of antiseptic mingles with the faint hum of life-sustaining machines, a storm of human emotion brews. At the heart of this tempest is Xander Kyriakis, a man whose life has been defined by ambition, betrayal, and an unrelenting thirst for control. Once a titan of industry, Xander now stands at a precipice, his soul teetering on the edge of darkness. His target: Philip Kyriakis, his cousin and lifelong rival, who lies motionless in a coma, a silent witness to the chaos his actions have unleashed. Tonight, Xander's heart beats with a singular, chilling purpose to ensure Philip never wakes again. With a pillow clutched in his trembling hands, Xander creeps into the hospital room, his mind a whirlwind of rage, guilt, and desperation. Will he succeed in silencing Philip forever, or will fate intervene to halt his descent into murder? The answer lies in a story of shattered trust, familial treachery, and a man pushed beyond reason. To understand Xander's perilous journey, we must first unravel the tangled web of deceit that brought him to this moment. The Kyriakis family, a dynasty built on wealth, power, and ruthless ambition, has long been a battleground for its heirs. Xander and Philip, cousins bound by blood but divided by rivalry, have clashed repeatedly over control of Titan Industries, the family's corporate empire. For years, their rivalry simmered, fueled by personal slights and professional jealousies, but it was a single act of treachery that ignited the inferno now consuming them both. Philip, ever the schemer, orchestrated a deception that cut Xander to his core. A forged letter, purportedly penned by Victor Kyriakis, the patriarch of the family, surfaced, legitimizing Philip's claim to Titan's throne. The letter, a masterstroke of manipulation, declared Philip as Victor's chosen successor, effectively stripping Xander of his hard-earned position at the helm of the company. The betrayal was not merely professional, it was deeply personal. Victor, a towering figure in Xander's life, had been a mentor, a father figure, and the one person whose approval Xander craved above all else. To learn that Victor's legacy had been twisted to favor Philip felt like a dagger to Xander's heart. But the wound ran deeper still. Sarah Horton, Xander's wife, and the woman he loved with a ferocity that bordered on obsession, knew of Philip's scheme. She had uncovered the truth about the forged letter, but chose to keep it hidden, shielding Philip out of a misguided sense of loyalty or perhaps fear of the consequences. When Xander discovered Sarah's complicity, the betrayal was unbearable. The woman he had vowed to protect, who had shared his dreams and his bed, had chosen to protect his enemy. The revelation shattered the fragile trust between them, leaving Xander reeling in a maelstrom of hurt and fury. Xander's response was swift and brutal. Consumed by rage, he confronted Philip in a dimly lit alley behind the Kyriakis mansion, where words quickly gave way to fists. The confrontation was no mere scuffle, it was a savage unleashing of years of pent-up resentment. Xander's blows rained down with merciless precision, each strike fueled by the sting of betrayal and the fear of losing everything he had fought for. Philip, caught off guard, crumpled under the onslaught, his body battered and broken. By the time Xander's rage subsided, Philip lay unconscious, his life hanging by a thread. The aftermath was chaos. Philip was rushed to Salem General Hospital, where doctors fought to stabilize him. He slipped into a coma, his condition precarious, his fate uncertain. Xander, meanwhile, was arrested for assault, his name splashed across headlines as the town's golden boy turned villain. The Kyriakis family, already fractured, descended into further turmoil, with factions forming around those who condemned Xander and those who secretly sympathized with his pain. Sarah, torn between guilt and horror, distanced herself from her husband, unable to reconcile the man she loved with the monster who had nearly killed her friend. Released on bail, Xander found himself a pariah. The weight of his actions pressed heavily upon him, but it was not remorse that consumed him, it was fear. Fear that Philip, should he awaken, would expose the full extent of his schemes, further eroding Xander's standing. Fear that Sarah, already drifting away, would gravitate toward Philip, drawn to his vulnerability and her own guilt. And fear that Titan, the empire he had poured his soul into, would slip from his grasp forever. These fears coalesced into a singular, terrifying conviction: Philip could not be allowed to wake up. It is here, in the quiet of Philip's hospital room, that we find Xander now, his silhouette barely discernible in the dim glow of the monitors. The steady beep of the heart monitor is a cruel reminder of Philip's persistence, a sound that taunts Xander with the possibility of his rival's recovery. The pillow in Xander's hands feels heavy, not with physical weight, but with the gravity of what he is about to do. His breath is shallow, his pulse racing as he steps closer to the bed. Philip's face, pale and serene, betrays no hint of the schemer who upended Xander's world. In this moment, he is not a rival but a vulnerable man, defenseless against the storm of Xander's wrath. Xander's mind races, replaying the events that led him here. He sees Sarah's tear-streaked face, her eyes filled with accusation and sorrow. He hears the whispers of the boardroom, the murmurs of doubt about his leadership. He feels the phantom weight of Victor's disapproval, a specter that has haunted him since childhood. And above all, he sees Philip, always Philip, standing in his way, a constant reminder of his own inadequacies. The pillow trembles in his grip as he raises it, his resolve hardening. One act, one moment, and all his fears could be erased. Philip's silence would ensure Xander's survival, his secrets buried forever in the stillness of death. But doubt creeps in, a serpent coiling around his heart. What would Sarah think if she knew? Would she see him as a protector, eliminating a threat to their future, or as a monster, incapable of redemption? And what of Victor's legacy? Would this act honor the ruthless pragmatism of the Kyrieki's patriarch, or would it tarnish it forever? Xander's hands hover above Philip's face, the pillow poised like a guillotine. The room feels suffocating, the air thick with the weight of his decision. Time seems to slow, each second stretching into eternity as Xander grapples with the man he is and the man he is becoming. Outside the hospital room, the world continues to turn. Sarah, wrestling with her own demons, visits Philip daily, her heart heavy with guilt for her role in the forged letter. She sits by his bedside, whispering apologies, unaware that her husband lurks nearby, driven by a darkness she cannot fathom. The hospital staff, accustomed to the drama of Salem's elite, sense the tension but cannot pinpoint its source. And in the shadows, others watch, friends, enemies, and those whose loyalties remain unclear, each waiting to see how this tragedy will unfold. The question that hangs over this moment is not merely whether Xander will succeed in his murderous intent, but what it will cost him. If he smothers Philip, will he escape justice, or will the truth come to light, condemning him to a life behind bars? If he is stopped by a nurse, a visitor, or his own faltering conscience, can he find a path to redemption, or has he already fallen too far? And what of Philip? If he survives, will he awaken with vengeance in his heart, ready to reclaim what he believes as his? Or will his brush with death transform him, offering a chance for reconciliation in a family torn apart by greed and ambition? The drama of Xander's choice is not just a personal one, it is a microcosm of the Kyrieki's family's legacy. Theirs is a world where loyalty is a currency often spent unwisely, where love and hate are two sides of the same coin, and where power is both a prize and a poison. Xander's actions, whether he follows through or falters, will ripple outward, affecting not just Philip and Sarah but the entire town of Salem. The stakes are nothing less than the soul of a man and the future of a dynasty. As Xander stands over Philip, the pillow inches closer, the monitor's beeps growing louder in his ears. His mind is a battlefield, torn between the primal urge to protect himself and the faint whisper of morality that still lingers within him. He thinks of Sarah, her laughter, her touch, and the life they might still have if he can erase this threat. He thinks of Titan, the empire he has fought to preserve, and the legacy he longs to leave behind. But he also thinks of the boy he once was, the one who dreamed of being more than a pawn in the Kyrieki's game, the one who believed in honor even as the world taught him otherwise. The door to the room creaks faintly, a sound so soft it might be imagined. Xander freezes, his heart pounding in his chest. Is someone there, a nurse making rounds, a visitor come to check on Philip, or Sarah herself, drawn by some instinct to protect the man she once shielded? The moment stretches, taut with possibility. Will Xander press the pillow down, sealing Philip's fate and his own? Or will he step back, the weight of his conscience proving heavier than his fear? The answer lies in the choices that define us, the moments when we decide who we are and what we are willing to sacrifice. For Xander Kyrieki's, this is that moment. As the hospital room holds its breath, so too does Salem, waiting to see whether a man consumed by betrayal will find redemption or descend into darkness forever. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.